Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Exodus Entrepreneurs podcast. I hope you're having an incredible day so far. Anyway, today we are talking about what success really looks like. Okay, how do we measure success? So I'm so excited to talk about this. This is probably going to be slightly shorter than normal, but who knows? This could be really long. But yeah, I cannot wait to dive in. But first, if you're new here, welcome. You are listening to the Exodus Entrepreneurs podcast, where we are leaving low expectations for light, truth, and God-glorifying business success. If you haven't heard of us before, please do go and check out our website. It's www.exodusentrepreneurs.com. And I am ER Ware, Esther. I said that the wrong way around. I am Esther, or ER Ware. I'm a 16-year-old Christian author, reader, writer, and entrepreneur, founder of Words by ER Ware, Northbound Books, and Exodus Entrepreneurs. So yes, I'm so pleased to have you here. You can find me on my personal website at wordsbyerware.com, and then Exodus Entrepreneurs, you can find us everywhere, well, everywhere excluding TikTok. So you can find us Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Amazon Music, I said YouTube, Substack, Audible, and a couple other places as Exodus Entrepreneurs. So yeah, if you want to listen in, those are the places to do so. You can also find us on our website, as I said. Anyway, we are talking about what success truly looks like. I think this is a very big thing in the business world, is what success is. Like, how do we measure success? What do we call a successful business? And I think I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this as well. So please do drop a comment below, or send an email to info@exodusentrepreneurs.com. I would love to talk about what your thoughts are on this topic. But I think most people in the business industry and in general in every aspect of life would say that success is measured by a lot of things. But I would say most of the time we tend to measure success by fame or money, particularly how many followers someone has, whether they're well known, whether they've reached like a goal, like a milestone in life, I think in general life, we're like, well, have they done all the right things? Have they got straight A grades through their whole schoolwork? Have they gone to college? Have they gone to university? Have they graduated? Have they got married? Have they had children? That is like kind of, I know that's a very obviously stereotypical one, but yeah, I think that's obviously another measure of success is like, have they ticked all the right boxes? Because I think it's really sad that in this world and this culture, quite often we tend to put people in boxes. We try and get in boxes, and this is something I feel quite strongly about, is that I do not believe that the Lord has called each of us to fit into the same box. I believe he's called us to be unique. I believe he's called us to be creative. And I believe, as we see in Corinthians 12, is it? Where it talks about the one body having many parts. I believe that he has created us to be part of the body of Christ, but to be the many parts. I believe each of us are called to do something different. So yeah, I think those are some of the aspects that people would say success is, like, whether in business, I think it's like, how much money are you making? How many followers do you have? Is your stuff selling well? Are you an expert on this topic? Are you being invited to speak places? Are you international? Are you worldwide? Are you climbing that corporate ladder? But I honestly do not think that is a measure of success, because again, it is putting a person inside a box, and I really do not believe that is wholesome and true, and an actual valid measure, because each business and each person is individual. Each one has a different mission. Each one has a different purpose. And you look around and you see how many different businesses are. There are art business. There are tech businesses. There are services. You look around and everything is business, right? Okay, there is a business for pretty much everything. There is businesses for businesses, as you probably know if you're here. And I think the funny reality is that those are all so wildly different that quite often we wouldn't even imagine them. We wouldn't even put them together in the same room in that kind of metaphorical term. But yet we're using the same measure to measure whether or not they're successful. And for me, that is just very, very bizarre, really, because we're going along and saying, right, we're taking our clipboard and going, okay, does your business fit this boxes? Is your business famous? Are you making money? Do you have followers? Are you known? Are you reaching a goal? Are you selling well? Are you being an expert on this service? Are you going worldwide? Are you going international? Are you going bigger? Are you climbing the corporate ladder? And we're going around and asking, and we're going around and looking at these businesses and going, well, they're not successful, but they are because they're worldwide and da-da-da-da-da. But I do not believe that that is the way to measure success. So I want to take a moment to look at my business, my personal author business, which is Words by E.R. Ware. I did not start this business to become an international best-selling author. I know God has big plans for this business, and I would consider it a massive success. But in the world's eyes, let's just go through and look at whether I tick any of these boxes. Am I famous? Cross mark. No, I'm not famous. Am I making money? Some, but I'm not hitting more than I'm not hitting 3-figure months. I'm not even hitting 3-figure months. So yeah, let's do a cross on that. Followers, I have 50 on Instagram and another probably 50 on Facebook and 130 on Substack and then 100 subscribers. So I'm not going to tick the follower box. No, we're going to check that one. Am I well known? Not really. No, let's check that box too. Am I selling well? Well, in the last 4 months, I've sold a grand total of, let me count, 1 copy of my poetry book, and I've sold 9 copies of my newest release. So I would say no, we're going to cross that one as well. Am I an expert at what I'm doing? Absolutely not. I am 16 years old. I've been doing the actual business side of things for how many months have I been doing this now? 9 months. I've been doing it for 9 months, okay? 9 whole months. I know, that's incredible. I've been doing the writing side of things for so many years, but the actual selling and stuff, no, 9 months. Okay, I'm not an expert. Am I global? Well, yes, but no, because they're available globally, but no one's buying them globally. So not really. I don't really check that box as well. So if you go through that checklist that a lot of people are using to determine whether or not a business is successful, I don't tick those boxes. And yet, I will stand up quite happily and say my business is a success. And why do I class it as a success? Because I am not measuring my business by the same measure that the world is using to measure these other businesses, okay? My business does not fit inside the box that the world will try and cram it into, okay? I call it successful because I am doing with this business what I believe God is asking me to do. And to me, that is the biggest goal, that is the biggest reach, that is the biggest international spectre, as it were. That is the biggest goal and measure of success that I could ever hope to reach for, is to do what the Lord is calling me to do. And every day he stretches me with that and asks, and not every day, but whenever I'm ready and I'm ready to receive what he has to say, he stretches me in that goal and then pushes me forward to do the next thing. And because of that, I am always reaching for the next thing that God is asking me to do. But that does not mean that what God is asking me to do in my business is the same thing he is asking you to do in your business. And that is why I think the fairest measure of success to determine whether a business is a success is whether or not you are doing what the Lord is asking you to do for your business, okay? Because if you look at my business, I believe that I am doing what God is asking me to do. As of this day, I'm doing what I believe God is asking and calling me to do in this business. I believe I am being obedient to what God has called me to be. I believe I am trying to be a godly example. That does not mean that does not mean I'm succeeding, but I am trying, because none of us can meet the perfect measure that is Jesus and that is God. But we can try our very best out of love for him, out of desperation to do our absolute best, to be a godly example and to help to be obedient to what God has called us to be. And then this is a very, very precious one for me, but this is probably the second biggest my biggest reason of calling my business a success, is because I believe I'm doing what the Lord has called me to do. My second biggest reason to why I claim my business to be a massive success is that I have seen it touch people's lives, and that is crazy to me that it's touching people's lives. And when I say it's touching people's lives, I have met people who have read my poetry book and have said that it is they have said that it has been such a blessing to them. And I think that is why I write to touch people and I pray that my work touches people and the Spirit uses that, basically. That is my prayer, my desire. And I think what's really important to me is that I recognise that sometimes the person that is going to be touched by my work lives 1,000 miles away, and is in a completely different life situation to who I was writing it for, but they were still touched by it. But then sometimes, and this is the thing I find very interesting, this is something I keep in mind so often when I'm writing. I'm writing for God, and then I'm writing for the one person who is going to be touched by that. And sometimes the one person who is touched the most by my writing is me. Sometimes I'm the one that the Lord teaches through my writing. It's not always someone else, but I still class my business as a success, because not only am I seeing the fruit of this business, I am seeing the fruit of it in myself as well, not just in the physical, but in the spiritual. And that is why I would class my business as a success. So if you've been feeling like your business is a bit of a failure, or you're never going to be able to stand up and say, my business is a great success, I want you to go and pray about it. I want you to go and say, Lord, am I in my business measuring up to the ruler that you have set for us? Are we fitting? Not fitting. Are we not fitting into the box that the world has set? Ask him, what is the box that you have built for me, God? Because it's not just going to be a box, it's going to be a crazy random shape, but ask him, what is the shape that you have created to for me to mold my business into? And just ask him, am I being successful? Am I doing the best I can do today? And am I doing the best I can do tomorrow? Am I doing the best I can do yesterday? So yeah, that was my quick little thoughts on how we measure success in a business, because I do believe that we are mostly doing it wrong. So yeah, go reevaluate, go talk about it, go think about it, go pray about it, and let me know, do you agree on my thoughts on that, on how to measure success as a business owner? Because I completely class all of my businesses actually as great success, because as I said, sometimes it's someone 100 miles away who's getting touched by what my business is doing, and that is the most incredibly humbling thing to hear and to see happen. And I feel so blessed and privileged that is something that the Lord has enabled me to see, and to see the fruit of it. And then, as I said, sometimes the person who is being touched most by my business is me. Sometimes that's the person who is gaining the most from it. And both ways I still class as a success. So there we go. That was my quick thoughts. I knew this one was going to be a shorter one. 12 minutes. There you go. Nice little quick. I don't know what we should call it, a mini podcast episode. Mini episode. There you go. I'm still going to class it as a regular one, because if you've been here for the last couple weeks, you will know that it is all over the place, and I am happy for it to be all over the place. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned, because we have some incredibly exciting stuff coming up soon. If you're not already subscribed to our newsletter list, you're going to want to be. It is exodusentrepreneurs.substack.com/subscribe, and you will get everything sent for free straight into your inbox. I cannot wait to do that. And also, quick question for you guys. If you are listening, I do not know how many people listen to this, but if you are listening and you are loving it, please, first of all, rate the podcast wherever you're listening to it. If you're on Spotify, you can rate it there. I don't know where else you can rate it, actually. Do leave a comment if you've enjoyed it. Share it with a friend. Let me know what your thoughts. But the thing I was going to ask you is, I think at some point we're going to have to bring out some merch, because I would love a hoodie that is light, truth, success, because that's kind of like our slogan here at Exodus Entrepreneurs. So yeah. Oh, and last little thing, because I wanted to put this out here. If any of you guys are business minded teens who have a success story, an entrepreneurial success story, and as we've talked about today, success does not necessarily mean what people think success means. So do not be afraid to send it in if it is in any measure of success. I would love to hear your business success stories. So please do send an email to info@exodusentrepreneurs.com, because I would love to feature it on another episode. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I will be back soon with exciting news and some really, really fun episodes coming soon, where we're going to be really diving into the how to create a business kind of series that we are currently doing. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you next time, and thank you for listening.